Right, hold on to your seats. I want to talk to you about Mouseman Mouseman furniture generally, and why is it so expensive? Why is it so desirable? Well, we're going to watch this box sell in a moment, and here we are at Summerskills Auctions in North Yorkshire, just around the corner from where this box was originally made by Mousey Thompson, or one of his men rather. Now, Mousy Thompson, Robert Thompson, is a famous brand, and famous because of the mouse. But is it the mouse that makes these things so valuable? It's a good question, because let's be honest, shall we? Hope that nobody hears me saying this. Just check the lot number. No, we're okay. Let's be honest. It's a very good quality box, right? But you probably could make it. I couldn't. I don't have these skills. You might. Take a look at it. It's English oak, and it's made traditionally using almost kind of medieval skills. Adzes, the old tools. Can you see that wavy mark on the oak? That's Robert Mouseman Thompson. It's known for that, as well as the mice. And I'll get on to why we've got mice on these boxes in a second. But to be honest, if you made that box, you'd get a £10 note for it, 20 quid. You go to a car boot fair, you go to even an auction like this, a good auction in North Yorkshire, and buy a plain handmade oak box to this standard for a £10 note. This is £200 to £400. Why? Because of the mouse. It's all about the mouse. It's just a brand. The antiques business is no different to any other business. It's all about brand and marketing. And Robert Thompson, the guy who founded the company at Kilburn, a little village just around the corner from here, was a proper Yorkshireman. He was very tight with his money, by all accounts. And this is where the mouse comes from. But he was also a very good marketeer, a self-promoter. And this is why these things are so damned expensive. The mouse came about in the early part of the 20th century, not long after the firm was established in the little village of Kilburn. And Mousey Thompson, he wasn't called Mousey then, until the mouse came, Robert Thompson, trained his men very well. Men were very well trained, still are. In fact, so well trained, a lot of the guys that work in Kilburn, over the very many generations that the company's been going, have left the firm and set up on their own. They're now referred to as the critters. And they don't carve mice, of course, because Thompsons would, well, they'd sue them, I suppose. But they carve different things. There's a lizard man, there's acorn man, there's gnome man. I don't think he was trained by Kilburn, but he certainly makes in the same style. Anyway, you could Google the critters and you'll find them. But the mouse, because Robert Thompson was so tight, in the early days, early part of the 20th century, his men, craftsmen, were working in a local church, not far from here, just a few miles away. And they were moaning, because he did a lot of work in churches and schools as well. Very good quality, of course. And he wasn't cheap, but he was cheap with his workers, by all accounts. They'll kill me in Kilburn, because I did interview the current owner not very long ago on the BBC. Lovely young guy. He was a bit older now, but 5th generation. Anyway, if you're watching, fill in with some interesting details. But what happened was that his men were working in this church, and they were moaning that old Robert Thompson didn't pay them very well. One of them commented that we are as poor as the church mice, because there was mice, just like that, running all around the church. Let's just check the numbers. Okay, we're all right. And so one of the guys, one of the craftsmen, just for a bit of fun, carved a mouse into one of the pews or whatever they were making, lecterns maybe. Robert Thompson saw this and liked it, and so he instructed his men to carve a mouse into every single piece of furniture thereon in. So for well over 100 years, Thompsons of Kilburn, North Yorkshire, now more famously known as Mousey Furniture, Mouseman Furniture, carved mice into their pieces. And here is a great example. It's just plain, just a box, but the mouse is so distinctive. Now, there are fakes on the market, so you be very careful, which is probably why a lot of people buy Well, from auctions like this, Summerskills, they sell more Mouseman than anyone else in the United Kingdom. They reckon you can date a piece of Thompson furniture by the mouse. I'm not that convinced, and in fact the owner isn't that convinced either. The mouse was carved in a set way, a set size, a set style, dictated by Mousey Thompson. Just check the looks. We're okay. But of course it was down to the craftsman himself to put his own distinctive mark on it. But date-wise for this, let's get back to this. I'm going to watch it sell in a minute, it's very exciting. I reckon 1980s, that's it. So here we go, 202, it's coming up for sale. If it didn't have the mouse, I think it's not worth any more than 10 quid because of the mouse, because of Mousey Thompson. Let's find out what it sells for. Okay, auction begins. Here we go.
70 bid 80, 90, 90 in the room, 90 have in the room, not online. 90 in the room, we got 100 bid on Easy Life. 180, 200, 220, 240, 240 on the sale room now, 240 bid. At 240 on the sale room at 320. On the sale room at 320. Is that to be it then at 320? We sell
320. Give me your thoughts.
320. Final call and sold at 320.